I've always felt so minuscule compared to my peers. All my friends have a grand stage presence and entrance everybody in their aura. I wish people could see through the facade. Don't get me wrong, I love to support those around me, but I deserve some recognition too. It can be hard trying to help everyone with everything when people just look at me like I'm an enemy. However, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the black and yellow striped animals in your garden. Bees pollinate most of our produce, yet are decreasing rapidly in number because people continue to attack them. I have wrongly accused a bee of having bad intentions myself, and I've had to bear the guilt of ending said bee's life. It wasn't until a few years ago when I attended a farmer's market and spoke with a beekeeper who freed me from my ignorance. I learned all about their migration patterns, their habitats, how they produce honey, how we collect honey, and since then I have actively been researching the bee population status and effective supportive measures taken to improve the livelihood of bees. You all should be cautious of bee population status. According to AP Regional State Report, July 21st, 2019, bees pollinate 75% of plant species that guarantee 90% of the population's food. The United States relies heavily on its produce for its own personal sustenance, as well as for its economic gain from trade within surrounding nations. In the next few minutes, I'm going to educate you on how bees single-handedly help sustain the environment. First, I'm going to highlight the key characteristics of bees. Second, I will be reviewing a few ways bees impact our environment. And finally, I will illustrate some unbelievably amazing ways that people are doing to help save the bees. Let's get our buzz on. People generally associate all bees to be honeybees, or rather, producers of honey. However, Brunswick News, May 1st, 2015, declares that honeybees are the most common pollinator in the US and thus the most important bee to domestic agriculture. Although Encyclopedia of Science, copyright 2014, allows us to understand that honeybees simply aid bees in being the third largest insect with more than 130,000 species in the order. All of these species seek to pollinate crops. Within the species, the queen bee reigns superior. She is the sole reproducer of the colony and is the queen of her sons and daughters. The surrounding members of a species seek to consume pollen, build nests, and protect the queen directly. Let's take a look at how bees impact our environment. Bees are responsible for the pollination of our crops, but they carry a greater responsibility. Though their size may be deceiving, bees have tremendous agricultural influence. Choices, the magazine of Food, Farm, and Resource Issues, November 2019, informs us that colony collapse disorder has the potential to cause a $15 billion direct loss of crop production and $75 billion in indirect losses. If you take a look at the graph that I have connected, you can see the downward trend that is caused from colony collapse disorder. If we continue to be affected this immensely, you can get to say goodbye to any fruits, animals that you cherish closely. These allow for the growth of plants and trees to continue, which provide shelter and a home to animals, as well as trees which exhaust oxygen, which is a necessity to our lives. Not only so, but bee pie products are incredibly demanded by consumers. Many are aware of honey being used as a sweetener, but many fail to forget that beeswax is used in cosmetics, candles, medicine, and even furniture resin. However, Encyclopedia Britannica, January 15th, 2019, exclaims that the practical value of bees as pollinators is enormously greater than the value of their honey and wax production. Wow, just imagine all their profits that are gained in their products are equivalent to nothing compared to just the purpose of pollination. Since we have discussed the importance of bees, it's evident that we must advocate for them. So let's examine the efforts by others across the nation to support bees. Here's some personal measures taken by people to aid against colony collapse disorder in specific. The Sunday Age, May 19th, 2019 demonstrates how leaving out little dishes of waters with pebbles during hot weather will allow bees to have a second chance and not be lender to heat stress in the summer or in any hot weather, wherever you are. For those who are applicable, gardening flowers and plants such as lavender, Garden cosmos and marigolds allow for wild bees to continue to forage despite any struggle that's placed for them. Others have found themselves to just simply use their voice and advocate for the livelihood of bees in their own community. AP Regional State Report, July 21st, 2019, illustrates how an environmental group effectively started a petition to ban pesticide use. This article continues to explain how other farmers who were not directly affected by this ban were inspired to cut back on their own pesticide use in the meanwhile. Today, we have been given the key to success. We have a chance at creating a cleaner, healthier environment. First, we analyzed the key characteristics of bees. Second, we reviewed a few ways bees impact our environment. And finally, we saw some unbelievably amazing tactics that people have done on their own to help aid and prosper the lives of bees. The next time you might judge someone on the street, just buzz off. You might never truly understand the responsibility someone or something carries until you take the time to get to know them. Just remember that bees pollinate 75% of plant species that guarantee 90% of the whole population's food.